He's most widely known for pretending to be a pimp in an undercover stinging video. Now conservative activist James O'Keefe is back in the headlines, this time for trying to embarrass CNN. But before we tell you about that, here's a brief reminder of O'Keefe's previous antics. Last year, he and a fellow activist posed as a pimp and a prostitute while secretly taping employees of the community organizing group Acorn. The tape appeared to show Acorn workers giving O'Keefe advice on setting up brothels and evading taxes. Prosecutors eventually found no wrongdoing on the part of Acorn, but the scandal essentially destroyed the organization. O'Keefe's next target was Democratic Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana. His crew gained access to her office by posing as telephone repairman. O'Keefe pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge and is now on probation, which brings us to his latest botched project, trying to punk CNN Special Investigations Unit correspondent Abbie Boudreau. Abbie is joining us in the Situation Room now with more. How did all this unfold, Abbie?
Well, Wolf, it all started when I got a phone call from James O'Keefe. He was actually part of an upcoming shoot that we were covering for a documentary we're working on right now, and he had concerns about CNN being there, so he asked me to meet him and his colleague Izzy Santa at his office in Maryland, and he wanted me to come alone. That's when this project took a very strange turn, but luckily I had a flip cam with me, so when I left the so-called meeting, I turned the camera on and explained everything that had just happened.
When I pulled up to the property, Izzy was waiting for me.
And she said, "I need to talk to you. Can I get in the car?" And I was like, okay. So I noticed that she had like a little bit of dirt on her face, her lip was shaking, she seemed really uncomfortable, and I asked her if she was okay. And the first thing that she basically said to me was, "I'm not recording you. I'm not recording you. Are you recording me?" And I was, "No." And she says, "I need to tell you something." And I said, "Okay, is everything okay? You're making me nervous." She said, no, not everything. Everything's not okay. I am a moral person. I need to tell you something." "Well, what is about to happen? Tell me what is going on." And she said, "You're about to be punked."
Izzy told me the plan was to bring me close to the dock and then ask me if I would consent to having my meeting with James recorded on an audio recorder. If I said yes, she would get me on the boat, where James was waiting and where hidden video cameras were rolling.
"Why is his goal to get me on the boat?" She said, "Because on the boat, he's going to be there, dressed up, and he's going to have strawberries and champagne waiting for you. And he was going to hit on you the whole time."
She said the sole purpose of the punk was to embarrass me and CNN. I went to the backyard to see the boat for myself and to try to meet James, but he didn't get off the boat, so I walked back to my car. Then, right before I left, James walked up to me and explained that it would make him feel more comfortable if the so-called interview were recorded.
You know, that's just not something I'm comfortable with, is to have this conversation recorded. Plus, it's not an interview. I mean, I'm just here to try to address your concerns about this upcoming shoot. But you ended up wanting me to come all the way out here. You told me we were going to be at your office, and instead you want me to come on some boat with you. And you want it to be recorded. Those were ground rules you should have said over the phone. And you didn't. And he was like, "Well, what are you ashamed of?" And that's when I said, "All right, this is where the conversation ends." And I said to him, "It was a pleasure." We'd soon find out that there was an elaborate 13-page document that outlines the plan to punk CNN. It's called the CNN Caper document, and it's split up into two parts. The first section is about how to trick CNN into reporting a false story, either about Sarah Palin or the Tea Party. And then the plan was to give Fox News a heads up that we were about to report a fake story, so Fox could then undercut, and that's a quote, undercut CNN's credibility. And the second part of the plan was how to punk me by seducing me on his boat. The document says the boat would be staged with sexual props, a blindfold, fuzzy handcuffs, pornographic magazines, and much, much more. And Wolf, just to be clear, James's mentor and fellow activist is listed as the writer of the CNN Caper document. James is listed as the activist. He's the one who would have acted out the punk. And James did email us a statement to CNN about the Caper document. He says, quote, "That is not my work product. When it was sent to me, I immediately found certain elements highly objectionable and inappropriate and did not consider them for 1 minute following it. But we would learn that does not appear to be true. We have a series of emails, audio recordings, and other documentation that we're told show his true intentions, and all of that will be revealed in the documentary that airs on Saturday.
Did he ever say anything to you directly, Abbie, about wanting to go with you on this boat?
No. He said nothing about a boat. I thought we were meeting at at his office or maybe out for lunch. If he would have told me anything about a meeting that was supposed to be scheduled on a boat, I would not have felt comfortable going. The only reason I went in the first place was to ease his concerns about an upcoming shoot. Wolf.
How does all of this impact your documentary?
Well, this is a very small part of the documentary. I mean, the documentary as a whole is about a growing movement of young conservatives, people with an idea and a video camera. And they say they're frustrated with the mainstream media, so they're using social media to get their message out. And we are committed to staying true to the original premise of the documentary. And, Wolf, whether you agree or disagree with their viewpoints, you have to respect their passion. These are passionate young people, and that will shine through in the documentary.
This must have shaken you up a little bit. I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a reporter, you're not quite ever prepared for something like this, and it has been difficult to kind of understand exactly what was this all about, and why was I the target of something like this. But we have been able to make sense out of this over the past several weeks. And we'll reveal all of that in the documentary. Looking forward to it. Abbie, thanks for your excellent, excellent work. Very, very good work from Abbie Boudreau and her team. They always do it for us. Why would you vote for any incumbent? Jack Cafferty has your emails.